Hello? May I come in? Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I see you're packing. I should be on my way then. I was just hoping I could speak to you for a moment. Thank you. Hmm? Oh, nothing. I'm not feeling anything. I suppose Spio knows what he's doing, although that's almost hard to believe considering the major loss we just faced. With any luck, relocating quickly and quietly at dawn will give us an advantage to regroup. Let's just hope he's right, otherwise we're out of options. What are your thoughts? You can always see right through me. Is it that obvious how nervous I am? It doesn't matter. It's not proper for your captain to say such things. Yes, you're right. We're friends first. When we were younger, we used to play swords and pretend. Do you remember that? You would always end up pinning me to the ground somehow, and then, if we were on the same team, we would kill at least a dozen bandits a day. I suppose we didn't realize we'd do plenty of real killing once we grew up. Funny, right? I remember this one time when we were real little. You got your hands on your father's actual sword. You remember that? Gods, what a disaster. You ran up all excited and we could actually have a real battle and you aimed it at me. You didn't realize how heavy it was, though, because it slipped right out of your hands and cut up my arm. My parents were furious. I still have the scar, you know. Of course I remember how we met. You damn near killed me. Pushing me down the stairs. Your mother invited me over as she and my mother were friends, but you'd built this barrier made of wooden blocks, if I'm not mistaken, to block the path to your room. No idiots allowed, you said. I responded, but I'm not an idiot. I'll never forget this, you yelled back. No, but you sure do look like one. Good times. I remember later on that day, I bought you some candy and a wooden toy, and suddenly I was your best friend. But I liked you right away. From the very first moment I saw you, I knew I wanted to be with you. That is to say, I wanted to be your friend. It's funny how simple it is for children to connect, isn't it? A part of me is sincerely grateful that you decided to join the army after me. Even if it's just as a foot soldier. I've been thinking about it. I think I'll work a little harder with you around despite how difficult it can be sometimes. Having a person you genuinely want to keep safe under your command can be stressful, but it's mostly comforting. I'm sure that doesn't really make much sense. Isn't it funny? All the time we've known each other, years and years of mischief and victory, I've really been scared of losing my life. Or of you losing yours. Oh, and what's this? One of my old notebooks? Where did you find this? I can't believe my father would give this to you. Well, he did say when I left the army he'd make sure to embarrass me. I suppose he didn't realize you'd be leaving not too long after. Oh God, it's my short stories. I think I wanted to write when I was young. Things didn't quite turn out that way, did they? Listen to this. I want to travel the world. If there's something more after death, then perhaps I will see the world. I will live the dreams I've wanted to live. If not, then I can make non-existent comfort in the fact that I've become part of the world I wanted to experience so badly. My, how relevant. I can't believe you kept this. Thank you for thinking so. Even my own father had no faith in me. You always seemed to. I recall him laughing in my face when I told him I wanted to be an author. Have you actually read any of this, by chance? That many times? Oh, great, think I almost prefer the sword piercing my chest right about now. Well, thank you. Oh, really? And which one is your favorite? Ah, yes, I remember this one. Eyes that could be sharp as a hawk, yet gentle as a swan. Slender nose, dainty ears, brows that when raised can convey both affection and disgrace, pride and pain. Cheeks that bring joy to anyone lucky enough to graze them with their own. Lips that can make your heart race and just as soon break it. And a soul, something so pure, so rare, that perhaps a goddess itself blessed us, deciding it was time to help the sodden world. I wrote it about a person I kept seeing in my dreams. Not that it matters. Naturally, dreams are meant to stay in your head. Guess my heart hurt too much to keep them there, though. At any rate, I came in to make sure your weapons are in order. I shall let you rest. It's been a long day. Good night. I'm sorry, I can't do this. Knowing what could happen, it just wouldn't feel right. I have something very important to tell you. No, I don't know. A lot of things are wrong, but I think the worst is how I feel about you. It's simply awful. What? Oh, damn it, no, that's not what I meant. What I feel for you is far greater than anything anyone could ever hope to experience. I mean, shit, why is it so difficult? You make me so speechless. I pride myself on how easily words come to me, but you always somehow seem to render me completely useless. I'm a babbling idiot every time you're around, and for years, I couldn't comprehend why. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what it was about you. I thought perhaps it was the anxiety of having known a person for so long, or that maybe you were just an evil witch of some sort, draining the coherence right out of me. Every answer, every word just wasn't enough to quite explain the grasp you have on me. It doesn't matter in what context. My father would always say to be wary when you were around, lest my mind and heart be clouded. I still refuse to understand. In fact, I went out of my way to make myself dislike you. It would never work, as you know, because whenever you would come over, I just couldn't turn you away. However, with time, I felt that perhaps I'd gotten over this strange feeling. Then, you re-entered my life when you joined the army, and I was puzzled. Whether it be you talking to me, or walking into the room, or somebody simply mentioning your name, the breath just seems to get knocked right out of me at every turn. The very thought of you is enough to make my head spin. There's just something about you, and it finally hit me tonight. After watching the amount of people who wrongly died today, more than half of our men, I started to think about what mattered to me. Who mattered to me. And regardless of how hard I racked my brain, you were the only one I could think of. But this is something far more significant than friendship. This is something I can scarcely explain, despite having an overwhelming urge to do so. You've been awfully quiet. The most quiet I've ever seen you, in fact. I'm sorry if I overstepped my boundaries. My father often used to tell stories late at night. I'm sure you don't remember, but there was this one story he told us that always resonated with me. I recall it so easily because it was the night after my mother died. You came over with your family to pay your respects, and ended up staying the night to comfort me. We were so young. 10 years old, I believe. I couldn't stand to be alone. And you understood. You've always understood. So you stayed beside me. My father came in that night. His eyes red and swollen, and sat at the foot of the bed we innocently shared. And grievously, he just sat there for the longest time, looking more lost than I could possibly imagine. Time passed silently, both of us curiously staring, And then he finally spoke. He told us how souls used to consist of two people put together. Do you remember? A duel of personality of sorts, if I'm remembering it correctly. Comprising the whole. Unstoppable. Rebellious, even. So much so that one dual soul decided that they wanted to overthrow the gods. Many souls joined in. Afraid the gods ripped them apart, splitting them into two separate beings in hopes of stripping away their power. And after that, they spread all of the souls apart to keep them from coming together ever again. It worked. Those souls, now torn apart, began to form bodies as armor for their now weaker selves, and these bodies began to be known as humans, desperately trying to find their other half in the hope of becoming whole once more. People spent their entire lives looking. I know it was just a simple story, but I could tell that my father was deadly serious when telling it. In his weakness, having lost his other half, he confided in us. And tonight I thought about this and was filled with the ancient clarity. I've always had my other half. Without a single doubt in my mind, I know you're the one I've always wanted to be. That's why I can't function without you, and I can scarcely think about anything else the night before we might die. I know this is long and drawn out, but I'm trying to tell you, and what I wish I could have told you a long time ago is I'm in love with you. I think I always have been. I just never realized it. So, that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you. You don't need to respond or anything. I'll leave you to your tent then. Have a good... Thank you. Thank you so much. Does that mean... Oh, thank heavens. Because that was incredibly embarrassing. I just couldn't stand the thought of being so in love with you and never getting to say it. I love you. Please. Promise me you'll be careful tomorrow, okay? If it were up to me, you wouldn't even be here. You'd be somewhere safe, away from this chaos. I know. It's our duty to serve the Emperor. You're right. Why are you always right? If not anything else, I'm glad I got to live my life with you in it. I can't even imagine a world where you're not by my side. This may be our last night together. May I be a bit selfish? Lay with me tonight. Be mine, and I will humbly be yours. I know it's sudden, and I know you're scared. Trust when I say that I'm terrified. But if you'll allow it, I would like to spend our final night on this earth becoming whole once again. Will you let me? Thank you, my love. Let's become one.